say? Yeah. Hello? Yeah, sorry, I can't talk right now. I gotta do a video. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Shannon Keys. Welcome to Shannon Keys Official. Thank you for checking out a video. Looks like tonight we're gonna be reacting to some alien TikToks, which is probably one of my favorite topics. So it's gonna be fun for me. I'll do my best not to talk too much. Our sub goal is still 100. We got 27. I appreciate y'all showing love. If you want to get in touch with me outside of our YouTube chat, hit me up on Instagram at Shannon Keys Official, or you can hit me up at the Gmail down there at the bottom, Shannon Keys Official as well. Feel free to send any content there you'd like, or if you want to direct message, personal message me, you can do that there. With that being said, use your own discernment on these videos. I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff. I don't mean to hurt feelings, but if you would like to mention anything or you got something in mind, please put it at the bottom in the comments below. Let's get into it.
The Pentagon's expert warning about a possible mothership coming close to Earth. It may sound straight out of a movie, but the Pentagon and a Harvard scientist have collaborated on a new draft report questioning if we're alone in the universe and whether we've already seen evidence of life beyond Earth.
I think it's called a Muamua.
I've given you the Lazar tape, and that's as far as I can talk.
Okay. That's good.
It's only because I got the Lazar tapes from a White World forum.
Right.
And,
but you can't say anymore.
Well, people kept encroaching on Area 51, such that Area 51 is now being moved to Tooele, Utah. And here was one of the old-time developments.
Oh.
Now, I happen to know the guy who put that together.
How far does this date back? March 1.2?
I know it doesn't say, but in actuality, it's way, way back. The first, we must be at least 30 to 40 years.
60s? After the Roswell crash in the first week of July of 1947, it is alleged that the alien bodies in the craft are taken to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. That's where the alien bodies in the craft were taken. What Boyd Bushman is holding up is a document that states that a reverse-engineered nuclear-powered flying saucer that has a ceiling of over 60,000 feet, a range of 3,000 miles, nuclear-powered anti-gravity saucer that we reverse-engineered from the alien craft, and he knows who did it. He's testifying. Boyd Bushman is the man who designed the Stinger missile for General Dynamics. He worked for Howard Hughes. He worked for 20 years. He was at Lockheed Martin. He had access to above top secret and top secret files. He knows how to develop and reverse engineer anti-gravity technology and is actually demonstrating in front of us. And here we are for the first time in history. He is showing us proof that at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, we reverse engineered flying saucer technology.
I've given you...
mainly because...
I want to believe it. I do. I genuinely do. I want to believe that there's stuff outside of this planet. There's different races, bigger, smaller, smarter, dumber. I want to believe that there's just like so much that goes on outside of the human perspective. I don't know where they put those files in the 1960s. Maybe they had the first computer on like a extra floppy disk. Because I remember the floppy disk before USBs, right? Before CDs. That's how you put information in. So maybe they had it saved somewhere from the 1950s or 60s in the sense to where they could print it out on paper today or 10 years ago or whatever, however many years ago, maybe.
I think that there are many people that would like to discredit you. So it does bring a certain amount of credibility to your testimony.
I'm required by law to do that as a former intelligence officer, or I go to jail for revealing classified information.
Yeah, we don't want you to go to jail. My next question would actually be for Mr. Graves. Can you please explain to me in detail the event that occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base?
Certainly. In the 2003 timeframe, a large group of Boeing contractors were operating near one of the launch facilities at Vandenberg Air Force Base when they observed a very large 100-yard sided red square approach the base from the ocean and hover at low altitude.
Right away, I have to. I don't even mean to interrupt like this, but I have to because people skip over stuff like that. The fact that he just said that a Boeing, right, not the U.S. military, Boeing isn't a company owned by the military, and neither is Lockheed Skunk Works. So what are they doing doing testing anywhere near our military? That shouldn't even be a thing. And if there was any type of testing, I think our government should be aware of it.
One of the launch facilities. This object remained for about 45 seconds or so before darting off over the mountains. There was a similar event within 24 hours later in the evening. This was a morning event, I believe 8:45 in the morning. Later in the evening, post-sunset, there were reports of other sightings on base, including some aggressive behaviors. These objects were approaching some of the security guards at rapid speeds before darting off. And this is information that was received through one of the witnesses that have.
Though mainly because.
Yeah, I don't like that.
2023 is crazy, and it's only getting crazier. The U.S. government actually revealed that UFOs are real. What they are, we have no idea. But there are objects flying around here that they have no clue what's going on. And if you're a skeptic and you wouldn't normally believe in this sort of stuff, don't swipe away. This is for you. This is cut out all the nonsense, all the Stephen Greer stories, all the crazy conspiracy, flat earther sort of stuff that you hear. Let's just go over the actual facts. There's been some kind of UFO analysis department in the U.S. government since World War II. It's changed names and it's changed, who's in charge and all that, but there's always been something. And so they've been monitoring whatever these things are for decades. And the current one that exists is called Arrow. And they've released some reports in 2021 and coming up here this summer that are for the public that have bland information in them. The second thing is that they changed the name from UFO, unidentified flying object, years ago to unidentified aerial phenomenon.
He started the video by saying that UFOs exist. Yeah, the government admitted it, but we don't know what they are. That's exactly what UFO meant, unidentified. UFO doesn't mean alien spacecraft. UFO doesn't mean alien warship or starship. It's an unidentified. So he's going to go into the unidentified aerial phenomenon because it turns out that ball lightning exists. There's aurora borealis that can extend depending on the ozone and how our atmosphere or biosphere or whatever is doing. So keep that in mind.
Recently, they just changed the name from aerial phenomena to anomalous phenomena because they're finding more of these in the ocean than they are in the sky. Which, as someone that has a fear of the ocean, no, I don't like that.
Amen, brother.
But the other thing is they revealed in this last Arrow meeting, or whatever it's called, press conference thing, that they're seeing these metallic balls, these metallic orbs, flying around all over the world. And other governments are seeing this too. And they have no heat signature, they have no means of propulsion that we can see, and they are not exhibiting the behavior of like a balloon or something that would be that sort of size. They're having high speeds, high maneuverability, seem to have no, they can go right through the air with no issue. Wind doesn't matter. And they have like drone footage showing these. Like it's one of the clearer videos you've probably ever seen of an unidentified object. And so that in and of itself is crazy that they even brought that up because I had never heard of those being a thing before. It's not like the Tic Tac and all those other ones that you hear all the time. Like this is actually kind of interesting. The next thing is that David Grush, a former Air Force officer and senior intelligence officer, who has secondhand information. He was part of one of these investigative bodies looking into UAP, and he supposedly found a recovery program. Don't know what the factual information behind that is, but Marco Rubio has even just come out and said that they have other whistleblowers that have firsthand knowledge, and they're currently speaking with the Congress right now.
In case you missed it today, the United States government held hearings on aliens, interdimensional beings, and UFOs. These discussions are now part of public record. I don't know about y'all, but I find it both equally weird and fascinating that most of the public is just like, okay, carry on. I'm just trying to figure out how to put gas in my car tank and food on the table. According to sworn testimony, there are tons of technologies that have been kept from the public by corporations, medical advances, things that would make the combustion engine obsolete. So at the bare minimum, the Earth would basically heal itself from all pollution and none of us would have to pay for gas, electric, energy anymore, which is pretty freaking cool. Of course, the corporations hoarding this information have been up to some shady stuff. I don't know, it's interesting to see what was happening right under our noses and how our very future is about to change, like drastically. What a time to be alive. For more info, I would suggest that you watch Dr. Stephen Greer's press conference from June 12th and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about it.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the under our noses part. If you're watching this video, or if you're along with conspiracies, or if that's something that you get into, it ain't no under our noses. Okay, it's not a secret. Life ain't this ain't living. What we're doing, most of us, you might be watching it, you're doing well. 9 to 5s, working 5 days, working your life away. So this is how life is supposed to go. You're born in a hospital. First thing you get is these bright lights. They put your body through way too much right away, right? You can experience pain, discomfort. They put your body through way too much right away. Shots. If you're a male and you have the family that does it, they take some extra skin off and a little, then about 4 to 5 years old, they expect to institutionalize you. And I did see this video that was like, isn't it strange how cafeterias and prisons look like high school lunchrooms? Same trays, same form of line, the same way that they sit at these little super cheap made tables. You're expected to sit and follow directions for all day. You're a kid at this point. You should be learning how to move about the world, climb trees, go get dirty, go swimming, go have fun. Learn like that the human experience is supposed to be a human. All we've experienced our entire lifetimes, especially this generation, is work. Work. And if you don't work, then you don't have enough money to spend the little bit of money you do on things that are God given or whatever, universally given, whatever you might find. But something's off. So it ain't under our noses. But yes, it is nice to hear that the government is starting to take things a little more serious about the whole thing. Turns out all across the world that reports have been made of UFOs, UAPs, just things that are in the sky that are moving weird. People are seeing things and they have stories to tell about it. And now they're taking it serious, but it ain't under nobody's noses that there's technology and there's better stuff out there that could make the human existence almost bearable. At this point, it's unbearable, man. Too many people down bad and shit in bad places. So it wasn't under my nose, but I'm glad to see it.
This is personal. This affected the rest of my marriage, my life, and my relationship with my child.
He's stressing. You gotta be done.
Approximately 5 to 7 days later, the following incident took place. Porterman Road. It's the one road leading into the base. During weekend pass after the show, my wife and I had taken a pass to go see a movie. And this took place right after the live fire bunker, 5 to 7 days afterwards. We skipped the second movie or halfway through. I was really tired, just got back from running a range, 78-hour shifts with no relief. We passed a dry lake bed on the right-hand side. I've got that exact information already turned into the proper authorities. And then there's another group of men that I served with, and I tried to keep them alive every day to the best of my ability. Same guys that blew me up. And I still love them today, and I ask for amnesty for all of the information I'm going to say from here on in.
That's cold.
These boys are on the ground, on the hottest spots in the planet, along with these other soldiers, and they're dying out there. They're out there killing people under false pretenses. I've also turned information in that may be able to prove that to the proper authorities. I thought they would laugh at me and look at me like I'm a lunatic. However, I brought my data. I brought the information. They stripped my information, said I had a driver's badge and a service ribbon. I had 2 accommodation medals, and I had total 7 certificates. They put me in for an Archon, which is the highest award you can get for non-deployable base. I'm a non-combatant, but I'm as close as you can get to being one. Those boys out there, we receive KIT reports every day. That means killed in training. Had I been in a real tactical operation command center or bunker on the range, like the one that just got hit in Ukraine, then I'd be sending men out to die every day. Those guys hated the voice of the desert because we gave them commands to send their troops into danger and to death, even if we knew that they were just the decoys for the real mission. So I'm going to have to jump back to this. I apologize, Raven and everyone, for going off track, but that had to be said. Back to the story at hand. This isn't a story. It's my story. This is a real story. And don't forget that. This is real. This can't be made up. And I can give you the exact locations. I can drive Dr. Greer and all of the command, Congress, everyone there.
I'm excited to hear him. Gotta be said. I am all for our United States Army and military officials across the board. They sacrifice time. They sacrifice their lives. They sacrifice regular experience, all for freedoms that we all get to express or whatever we consider freedoms. And then when they get back, they get no support. I personally never went into the military. I have family in the military and I love them to death, love them to life. But how many times have y'all got to hear that we're fighting against other people just like us for like a handful of people? It's just a handful of people that are creating problems. And what they do is they send our citizens, right? They promise them a little bit of a check out of high school. They train them. And then they send them these hard-nosed, tough dudes and women, tough dudes, tough men and ladies and gentlemen. And then they go and send them to die. I don't think this dude's lying. And even if he is, I don't think that that's a false thing to think. They're doing it. No, they're aware of it. Please stop, y'all. Well, I don't know what somebody's going to invade. Look, I don't know. Take care of yourself first. Eventually, once everybody stops thinking it's a national pride that's sending us these other countries, it's not. It's the pride of a handful of individuals. No, I could have.
It's been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
It's been active.
When I exited, official law now is that the government has mandated the Pentagon, the intelligence community, to research this and report back to Congress. And this is the big story. No one's telling you. A large number of the UAPs are in fact deep black budget electromagnetic field propulsion devices based on the study of extraterrestrial vehicles that began in the 1940s. That is a fact. We can prove it. First, I want to tell you what we've handed off this week to the Congress and to the White House and to the Pentagon Aero Office, the AARO office that's tasked with investigating this. So we can go to the list of the material in the archive. It has government documents in the tens of thousands from all those countries.
Congress held a meeting today that proves that aliens exist and the United.
It's one of those things y'all gonna have to go look up. Go check it out. Look it up. AARO. The deep black budget projects. I talked about that in one of the last videos. I might have even mentioned it in this one. Tripping. Don't be surprised when you find out that the world's largest corporations also own some of the world's largest technological corporations. I'll put it that way, right? So the world's 3 largest companies, for example, probably own a solid 80 to 90% of the world, 80% of the world's largest technological corporations as well. So he was saying these non-governmental deep black budget projects are these projects that have an infinite budget. They're like loopholes to how they're getting money and how they're experimenting and it's not run by the government. It's run by very compartmentalized, which just means like if you go in and you're the janitor, then you are just a janitor. If you go in and you are the telecommunicator, then what you're doing is you're reading radio waves or whatever the communication might be. I'm just making this up to try and like explain it. But if you are the engineer, then when you go in, you work on like let's say the car's motor, but you don't get to see the rest of the car. They don't just pull the car up on you and be like, this is what it is. Everything is you're sectioned into exactly what you have a need to know about, so that when it gets to places like the government, it's a black budget. No one knows. I was just working on this. I was just a janitor, right?
The government is in possession of those alien ships and bodies. The government won't show us what they look like, but they said they are not human. Look at this. I'm just kidding. Check this out, though.
Stop.
Stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
This man just said the bodies that we found are not human. Why is nobody talking about the actual bodies that were flying? The UFOs that were recovered were not human. Elon Musk was right all along. What else was he right about?
Oh, gotta go in again. Here we go. All right. First thing I'm gonna say, if the government, right, is being paid and controlled by these black budget companies, then no, they're not gonna tell us that there's aliens. If anything, they would use this, right, as a media ploy to keep us busy while they're invading other countries and doing wild stuff. Look, hey, not a popular opinion, but I do believe that the media is meant to distract rather than to inform. Secondly, we have AI. I think that goes slept on. If we can create artificial intelligent robots that have facial features and they react and they can compute and almost respond. I mean, it takes them a little time, but they can respond to questions almost the way that a human can, right? They have like a Google's worth, which is why Google's a Google. But just almost infinite knowledge of how humans, real living creatures, communicate to one another. So non-human biologics could, well, never mind, I just crossed myself up with the biologics, but it could be like an artificial type thing, which again wouldn't make it extraterrestrial. That could just be a different country, or it could be a program that we don't know about. Or it could be aliens, which would be sick. First off, what I don't like is the audio. Too many encounters claim to not hear the noise, so I don't know where the sound is coming from. It's not even
We
flying
have
over.
crashed craft, stated earlier. Do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
And we did meet with one member of the flight crew who took the image. The image was of something that I am not able to attach to any human capability, either from the United States or from any of our adversaries. And they saw a sequence of 4 craft in a clear diamond formation for which there is a radar sequence that I alone have observed in the United States Congress. One of the pilots goes to check out that diamond formation and sees a large floating, what I can only describe as an orb. Again, like I said, not of any human capability that I'm aware of. And when he approached, he said that his radar went down. He said that his FLIR system malfunctioned and that he had to manually take this image from one of the lenses, and it was not automated in collection as you would typically see in a test mission.
Grush, as a result of your previous
That makes
government
sense.
work, have you met with people with direct knowledge or have direct knowledge yourself of non-human origin craft?
Yes, I personally interviewed those individuals.
Mr. Grush, as a result of your previous government work, have you met with people with direct knowledge or have direct knowledge yourself about ATs, advanced technologies that the U.S. government has?
Based on conventional advanced tech, I was briefed to the preponderance of the Defense Department's both space and aerospace compartmented programs. Yeah.
And I don't want to cut you off, but how does a program like that get funded?
I will give you generalities. I can get very specific in a closed session, but misappropriation of funds and
Does that mean
self-fund.
that there is money in the budget that is set to go to a program, but it doesn't, and it goes to something else?
Yes, I have specific knowledge of that. Yep.
Has the U.S. government become aware of actual evidence of extraterrestrial, otherwise unexplained forms of intelligence? And if so, when do you think this first occurred?
I like to use the term non-human. I don't like to denote origin. Keeps the aperture open, both scientifically. Certainly, like I've discussed publicly previously, 1930s.
Or do you have any personal knowledge of someone who's possibly been injured working on legacy UAP reverse engineering?
I did.
Yes.
Okay. How were they injured? Is it something
Can't
like
mention
a
it, right?
radioactive type situation or something we didn't understand?
You could imagine assessing an unknown unknown. There's a lot of potentialities you can't fully prepare for.
So that one, I've definitely heard of. That last one right there. I did keep up with this too. If you remember a while back, there was that Tic Tac video, kind of grainy, like a black and white. It was from a fighter pilot. It was from one of his things, and he like had reported it and kind of got, I don't know, not in trouble for it, but it's just one of those things. They're like, we don't report stuff like this. You know better than that. But where he was just going, he's not aware to disclose that information outwardly. And they need a SCIF, which I don't know exactly what that stands for, but it's like a secure, confined, confident information, whatever a SCIF is, facility. I don't know. He wants to go somewhere where he's like, I'm not about to, he doesn't want to lose his pension for his job. He doesn't want to lose his access to clearance about our United States government. But he also was presented with information that, well, he was verbally presented with information that he couldn't get to. And he's the top. He's like the top of our Defense Department or whatever. He's like one of the top of the people who should be involved in this. So for him, he's like, what do you mean? I have no access to it. I'm that guy, right? So that's why this is all happening. But a lot of crazy stuff in the video today. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I'll always say, I hope so. I hope so. Like, don't get me wrong. The idea of heaven is dope too. And I think bad people deserve their consequences. But there's something about the idea, man. I'm trying to Dragon Ball Z instant transmission to a different like planet or something, man. And just see a different species and just, if you've seen the species that live on Earth, man, I mean, from a giraffe, right? An extended neck horse to a snail or like a snail, even just the tiniest little thing, or them big slugs or snails, or I don't know, eels, man. There's creatures on our planet that have electricity inside of them, like enough to jack you up. I've seen a video of an alligator getting jacked up. Anyway, I like the idea. I couldn't imagine what things there could be out there. And we're carbon based, but I can't imagine that entire periodical table or periodic chart. And there's elements that we're not even aware of, I think. But if there are, then think about a species that lives from a completely different element. How would you make that work? I don't know. A carbon-based survival suit. Look, I don't know. All right, I'm just here to watch the videos. Thank y'all for checking it out, man. Like I said, I'm just here to check it out. I don't believe in it exactly. I don't disbelieve in it. If there's anything you got questions about or anything you want to link up to me, hit me in the comments below. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me on the Gmail. I appreciate y'all just watching these videos. Not necessarily for my reaction, but I enjoy the idea of an open-mindedness. And I'm glad that there's people other than me that are interested in this type of stuff. Again, use your own discernment. If there's something in here that you want to research or you want to look up, please do. If you need help, let me know. Other than that, I hope that everybody stays well, stay blessed. That was another one from your boy Keys. Peace out.
Yeah, say, yeah.